Hello, and thank you for stopping by 484 Freedom. Today we are bringing you the HK P30. This gun, I've been searching for a year for a Lem trigger. Originally started with the P2000. It's probably been 2 years I've been looking for a Lem trigger. Originally started looking for a P2000 Lem. They stopped making them. The Lems were so hard to come by. I just wanted to feel the trigger to see if that's really what I wanted to buy. I saw them on videos, heard good stories, nothing but good things about these triggers. So I'm like, I really want to try one though. Everybody kept telling me it's very similar to a Glock, but it's not a Glock. You know, it's very similar to the striker fire trigger, but it's not a striker fire trigger. So I'm like, I got to try it out. I knew I didn't want a double action, single action. Not a big fan of the double action, single action. I don't like having a safety for appendix parry. I don't want to, cock and locked appendix. I just don't feel safe doing that. The double action first pull, I could go that route. Just not a big fan of the long pull and then, into the good trigger pull, the single action. Every time I've shot one of those, I've owned a few. That first double action trigger pull, I'm either very accurate with that one and not accurate with the second one, or the opposite. I'd rather just be consistent. So that's the reason why I didn't want the double action, single action, and I wanted the Lem. So this is what we got. So the Lem trigger is, it's a single pull. It's consistent. And you can see there's a lot of, the nice thing is it has a double strike capability. I'm never going to be in that situation. There's a lot of take up in the beginning, but so does the CZ-P10C. If you look at that, maybe not quite as much, but it's still got a lot. Now the CZ-P10C, real crisp break, real short reset, right on the wall. Short reset, right on the wall, boom. The Glock also has some slop. Now, it's a lot grittier, a lot harder to pull back that initial. These might be 1 pound, this might be 2. And then the trigger pull is definitely heavier. Reset, very similar to the CZ, a little longer. Little creep after it, which is what I'm not a big fan of. And then it goes off. So it's very, very similar to what you get with a striker fire gun. And I think that's the route HK was going. So I'm happy with it. I really enjoyed it. When I shot it today for the first time, I would have not known it was not a striker fire gun. I thought it was really cool that I'm shooting a hammer fire gun that feels almost as good as my CZ-P10C. The only reason I say this feels a little bit better is that reset is just stupid. This is an exceptional trigger for a factory gun. So, but it was very similar to the Glock, like very similar with a lighter trigger pull. It wasn't quite a single action. Wasn't as bad as some of the double actions that I've fired. Or I'm sorry, it wasn't as bad as some of the striker fired. Striker fired, most of them are a little heavier. CZ-P10C, maybe that Walther PDP, and maybe the Walther PPQ. They might have a little bit lighter trigger pull than this, but it's about it. I know the VP9 has a lighter trigger pull, but it's not by much. This is still a very light trigger pull. I just wish I had a gauge to show you. I currently don't own one, so I don't have one. I've always wanted an HK ever since I was 18 years old, 1996. I worked with this gentleman. We had a really cool job. It was a cabinet company. There's a bunch of us guys that were very similar age, and my best friend still to this day worked there. He and I still hunt together, grouse and deer hunting together. And we just have a blast. But in this one department I was in, there was another gentleman that worked in there with me, and he was super big into guns. He loved HK. That's all he talked about. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, we talked guns, and he just talked about how much he loved the HK. And being a dude, you can't like the same thing he does completely. It's like, you know, like KTM and Kawasaki or Honda and Yamaha, you know, you can't get what your friend got. So he wasn't a big Glock fan. He didn't like the Glock angle. Well, I became a Glock fan. So that's how I became a Glock fanboy, was just working with a guy that didn't like him. And I bought my first Glock 22, 40 cal. I shot it. It shot great. It was everything that I wanted. And I enjoyed the Glock angle because it made me lock my wrist down and actually reduce the recoil just by me locking my wrist down. It actually taught me how to have a better grip on the gun. So that I appreciated that. So yeah, I got that. Then I had the Glock 27 and 40 cal. Then I had to sell them. We had to get some money. And then I decided, you know, when we got some money again, I wanted to buy another Glock. And what Glock am I going to buy? The G19. And then I saw it in brown, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I didn't even know they made them in brown at that time. FDE, Coyote, whatever color you want to call it. So yeah, I got my first 9mm Glock, and I've absolutely loved them ever since. So compact's my size, you know, it's very much Glock 19. That's one of the reasons why I was so interested in the CZ P10C. Glock angle isn't quite as steep, but it's still pretty good. Still close, I should say. I shouldn't say pretty good. Still close to the same angle. If you look at the two side by side, you can see the Glock and CZ are, you know, just got a little bit more hump in that Glock. It's pretty much it. It's actually just in a different location, the hump is really what it comes down to. So that's why I went that route. And then I, you know, decided I was gonna, and if you look at this, that hump's really not that much different, even though everybody will tell you it's a little different. It's not a lot different. So yeah, decided I wanted an HK. Been wanting one for quite a while. I just never wanted to spend the money, man. These things are expensive. Like, they're not very practical. Like, that's why I went with the CZ P10C. Like, time to buy another firearm. Which one should I get? And this one just came out, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And I felt it, and I'm like, oh, this is really amazing. And I'd look at this, I'd put this in my hand, and it just melts in your hand. It's so nice, like so nice. It's what I want. You know, it's twice as much as this guy. Like, why? Everybody says these are over-engineered. Are they? Like, I don't know that this is any less engineered than this. It's not twice. This isn't twice over-engineered than this guy, at least not in my opinion. This one's never had a failure to feed. This one has 150 rounds to it, no failure to feed. This one's got 4,000 rounds or more. I couldn't tell you. This gun's been fired a lot. Never, ever, ever had a malfunction. Now, I do clean my guns. I oil my guns. I try to keep them tip-top because you never know why you might need one, so I got to make sure it works. I carry all these. That's the reason that, you know, they're all the compact size. I carry appendix, the most comfortable way, in my opinion, to carry. That's the reason I had to have this guy. That's why I didn't get the wick stick. I didn't need the extra ½ inch or an inch. You know, it's a little bit longer. Didn't want to interfere with manhood down there, so the regular P30 is the way I went, and boy, I'm happy I got it. So, yeah, just finally got my HK. You know, looked at my gun safe a couple years ago and was looking through it, and I was like, man, I got a lot of cool guns. I'm an HK. I think it might be time to get an HK. So that time has finally come, and I got the exact one. I got the Lem trigger. I got the 17 round mag and the 20 round mag, and no, I don't live in a state where you need the 10, like, why? So, and I didn't get the 15 rounders where these came out with originally. Once I knew I could get a 17 and a 20, they were what I wanted. So yeah, we got the 17, and this is what I will appendix carry with this firearm. So today I shot it for the first time. I shot it indoors and I shot it outdoors. I only got video outdoors because I'm new to this filming stuff, and I'm a little embarrassed to film inside still right now, so unless somebody's standing there holding my phone or my camera for me, I'm not going to set a tripod up and film at a gun range with other people there. So I chose not to do that today, but I did film the outside shooting in the snow today, and that was really cool. I did have the one thing that I have to have a little gripe on this grip's so comfortable. I don't grip the gun the way I should because it's so comfortable. It's just put it and shoot it, and I'm just like, man, I got to clamp this thing down. The recoil's, it's a 9mm. It's not snappy, but when you're not gripping it correctly, it has a little bit more snap to it. And I was like, ooh, I got to fix that. So, and not only did it have a little more recoil, I was shooting left, and I was like, yeah, my grip's definitely not tight enough. So I clamped it down, and I started shooting much better after I clamped it down. But I kind of laughed at myself because I'm like, this grip's so nice, you became lazy. I didn't think I would do that shooting a firearm, but yeah, I totally did it today. So I thought that was kind of funny. So yeah, that's how it went today. My only real gripe for this gun is that it's not milled for a red dot. Like 2026 H&K, come on guys, like I know we're the American market. I don't really think you like us that much because it takes you forever to give us the guns we want. This one not, but mill it for a red dot. The VP9 has a red dot. Why? I know the hammer-fired guns are supposedly harder to be able to mill for the red dots, but I mean, they can be done. I know the P2000, the reason I didn't go with that gun is I'm under the understanding you cannot mill that one for a red dot, but this one you can. And I've only found 2 companies that are able to do it or willing to do it. And the least expensive one's $385 to mill this for a red dot. Like, what? This CZ-P10C, when I send it out to get milled for red dot, it'll be $125. $125. If I wait till Black Friday, this one, the Glock's $100 at the Glock store. I could send it to that same place that I'm going to send the CZ, and that's $125. $385? Are you serious? I know why they charge the premium, because no one else does it. No one else is willing to do it. I'm assuming it's probably still a little bit harder to do than this. But HK, if you milled it, I would have bought it $200, $300 more because I wouldn't have had to send it out. I could have just bought the red dot, stuck it on, got exactly what I wanted. Please just start milling your guns for red dots. I mean, it's the USP9, the USP9C, it's your HK45, it's all of them, the USP45. I don't even think you're doing the Mark 23. Like, I know they're old guns, they're iconic. Like, get another tool, mill it. I mean, we'll pay for it. Jeez, sorry. I had to gripe about that. That really does bother me, especially from a company that's this iconic, HK. Like, you've been doing that, the USP, what's 1993? You can't go with the times now and put a red dot on it. So I digress. So anyway, my first impressions of the gun, really cool gun, shoots very well. It's more accurate than I'll ever be. It really is just, it feels great in the hand. It's just, there's nothing I can complain about other than my gripe. HK, you do make a really good gun, and this one has the pick rail. That was the other reason why I wanted the P30 over the P2000. Once I started realizing I'm going to use lights because of the holsters I use operate with the tension on the lights. So that way I can carry different guns with the same holster and not always be required to just buy a new holster for every gun. That started getting old after a while. So yeah, that's my experience, my first impressions, and thank you guys for clicking and watching my video. And you know, if you would, like and subscribe, and if not, I get it. It's cool too. I appreciate the fact that you clicked on my video and watched it, and if you're still here, thank you for sticking around listening to me ramble, and hopefully you learned something, or I was able to, you know, help you make a decision if you're on the fence of maybe buying one of these or not. And you know, if not, thanks for listening to me ramble. You guys have a great night. I'll talk to you later. See ya.